Sometimes you walk for a while and you say, okay, I'm gonna walk and I'm gonna just listen. It's pretty amazing what you can hear when you just focus on listening. You start noticing the shapes of the clouds and the shapes of the flowers. And I found out that it's a beautiful planet and a beautiful world, and I was missing it. The Camino de Santiago, which is a 500-mile pilgrimage across northern Spain. It was 500 miles, 770 kilometers. It took us 38 days of being on the road. We had 2 rest days in there. Ended up doing it for the Athletic Challenge and kind of do it as a partnership with my wife, Morgan.
I just knew at some point it seemed like that's something I needed to do, that I was gonna walk 500 miles across Spain. It just got to be time. It just got to be time.
So we'll just go have a life's adventure. But it's, a big pit in your stomach when you leave and you don't know what's gonna happen or when you're gonna be back. I thought, here we go. We're gonna see what happens. First day is trial by fire. It's 4,600 feet over the Pyrenees. It's straight up.
Our very first day it was hard. It was really hard for me. Gregg's trucking up and I'm, huffing and puffing.
She was going very slow. And at one point I turned to her and she said, pretend like I'm a 90-year-old lady in a walker. I had to bite my tongue because I was thinking, I think the 90-year-old lady would pass you. It's because she was going really slow. I heard her say, what the hell was I thinking? And I looked over and she was throwing her arms up in the air and she said that several times, that, what was I thinking? The first night we go into a hostel and thought, what's this going to be like? And it was just, we're just buckling our seatbelts, not knowing what's going to happen. And you couldn't think too much. If, like the first day, you couldn't think, well, I have 490 miles left, because if you did that, you'd just kind of freak yourself out. So you just had to go one step at a time. Typical that we would just take off and depend on the terrain, depend on how far we're going to go. But you just kind of, after a while, it's almost like a migration. You get in the migration, you get moving along, and you go your 5 to 8 hours. At first, I was counting the hours. I got 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours till we're there. I was just thinking about, we got to get there. We've got to get there early enough to be able to get a decent bed in the hostel. So we need to make good time. But that went away.
It did go away.
Good.
Because it's not important anymore. It's just this step.
In my entire life, I was never lived in the now. I was always, I've got to get out of college, got to earn a living, I've got to have money for retirement. And you kind of slow down, you realize that this is about love. I think it's about connecting, that we're all together. We are more connected. We are all on the same page. And I never thought I'd see the day coming from the business world that I'd be walking around with a backpack on and staying in hostels. But this became my security blanket. There's a whole world in the back. The beauty of the Camino is we would just get lost in a day. I mean, it was an incredible, life-changing experience. And in typical fashion, I went in there biting, scratching, screaming, resisting to something that I just went along for her. And it's forever changed my life. Before I went on this trip, if someone told me I had this spiritual moment, you kind of roll your eyes and go, yeah, okay, sure. But there was no question about it. And I was fortunate, I had my iPhone and I took a picture of it. Got off the mountain and I just turned around and all of a sudden there was this light. And it was kind of a warmth and it was like love, and it just overwhelmed me. And I turned to Morgan, I said, something's happening.
He did, and he just said, I don't even know what to say. There's this, I've just felt this presence, I felt this warmth and this love and this connection. And
it's really hard to get my arms around exactly what that is.
He just felt God. That's what he would call it. He felt that there was a presence, that there was a loving presence.
When I think about it, it almost chokes me up. But now I know that there's something out there and there's something in here.
it's awesome that my dragging him, kicking and screaming is taking him places, or it will take us places, that he finally feels like he knows what he's supposed to do on this planet.
A little while afterwards, we were sitting in the room, and I looked at her and I said, "Would you do it again?" Because it was hard. And she, "What'd you say?"
I'd leave tomorrow.
I said, "So would I."
I used to tease him all the time. It's not the destination, it's the journey. And now that's what he's on, is a journey rather than looking for that destination. He is looking at the world through different eyes. You know, he looks at things and sees the holiness in it rather than it just being a tree or just being a cloud. It has much deeper meaning now. It's not just something that you'd run by. He's different. He's different now. I have a whole new husband.
And I think everyone that walks it comes back a little bit different. I think anytime you go on a quest like that, and if you're walking 500 miles and you're having so many interactions with people from all over the world, it's going to change it. On this trail for the first time, at the end, I felt like for the first time that, you know, I'm living life and life's not living me. Life is good. We're given this precious gift and we might as well make the best out of it.